The Mortal Kombat reboot is now available for streaming on HBO Max and is also in theaters right now. I got a chance to watch it earlier and I wanted to go ahead and quickly share my thoughts on the movie. So the movie was directed by Simon McQuoid and it features a cast of actors that I'm not too familiar with at all. Before I get into this review, let me start by saying that I'm no Mortal Kombat lore expert. I played some of the games growing up as well as the more recent entries aside from Mortal Kombat 11. With that being said, I think that this movie succeeds at the very least at capturing the tone of the series with its cheesy B-movie humor, and they brought a lot of the characters' fighting styles faithfully to life on screen for better or worse. The more recent Mortal Kombat games have had some of the best story modes in the fighting game genre. The franchise has adopted a more cinematic storytelling, which has raised the bar for its contemporaries. The story in the movie was serviceable, but I wasn't expecting much from a movie based on this property. I'm sure the lore in the series is rich, but the story tends to be very basic from what I've played over the years. There is a tournament referred to as Mortal Kombat that is held between realms, and Earth is in danger of being taken over by Outworld. Selected fighters from Earth must defeat Outworld or else the world will be taken over. Much like the games, the movie is light on story, but we get little pieces of interesting lore from the very start. The film opens up in the past, focusing on the conflict between Scorpion and Sub-Zero. The opening fight sequence with Hanzo was good and well choreographed. Afterwards, we get some exposition through some text on the screen about the tournament and a prophecy regarding Scorpion's lineage and Earthrealm's fighters. We then get the introduction of Cole Young, a original character made for this movie alongside Jax, Kano, and Sonya. The explanation of the tournament and the marking could have been handled better, but at the very least, the stupid birthmark line that was in the trailer, that was done a lot better here than in the trailer. I still don't think it was necessary for them to make an original character for this, and would have preferred that Johnny Cage be the main character instead. Louis Tan isn't bad as Cole, he's just not a very memorable character and his performance isn't anything special. I do like how they tied his lineage in with another character, which I won't spoil, but I hated that he was chosen, yet another actual character from the game wasn't. I think the writers probably gave him a connection to a certain character to make him a more integral part of the lore that they were trying to establish. There is a decent payoff during the final act, and at the very least I can at least appreciate that Cole's final fight is where he started, and that the conflict fits in nicely with the beginning of the movie. There's a point in this movie where the characters are training for the tournament and must awaken their hidden power. This was handled quite poorly for the most part, especially for Jax and Kano. The way Jax got his upgraded mechanical arms and Kano got his laser beam was very stupid. There was a simple way that they could have written it. High-tech military technology to replace Kano's eye and Jax's arm. Sonya and Jax were part of the military, so it would have made sense. The only character whose power awakening actually made sense was Cole, but his training to unlock it was stupid. They just let him get beat up. The conflict between the Outworld fighters happens rather quickly after several training scenes. I remember characters like Reptile, Shang Tsung, Melina, and Cabal, but there were a couple characters like Natara and Raiko that I've never heard of. I get the feeling that they were going for authenticity when it came to the characterization and the fighting. In general, the acting ranges from decent to bad, with a few exceptions. Mehcad Brooks brings some realism to his performance as Jax. Jessica McName is spot on as Sonya Blade. Joe Taslim and Hiroyuki Sanada were good as Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Joe's delivery of Scorpion's "get over here" line could have been better, but it's far from being the worst line delivery in the movie. Ludi Lin and Tadanobu Asano were bad as Raiden and Liu Kang. I could barely understand what Raiden was saying to the point where I had to keep replaying scenes. And Liu Kang's bicycle kick was weak. Nitara's actress, Alyssa Cadwell, looked spaced out during that one scene that took place in Outworld. There is some bad dialogue here, but to be fair, some of it is due to them trying to pay homage to the game. I was actually surprised by how funny Kano was throughout the film. When I saw him in the trailer, I thought that he might be a little annoying. For the most part, the characters look fine visually aside from Melina. I wish they didn't cast a black actress to play her. She does look a lot better in one scene where they show more of her teeth. From a visual perspective, the movie looks decent, but some of the effects for stuff like smoke or Liu Kang's fire dragon looks terrible. Sub-Zero's ice and Cabal's speed looks great though. The action scenes are as bloody as you would expect from the Mortal Kombat franchise, and thankfully they included some fatalities. Kung Lao had the best fatality in the movie, but the best fight scenes usually involve Sub-Zero, Scorpion, or Jax. I like how they managed to fit the Mortal Kombat theme into some of the music as the characters fought. Overall, I thought that the movie was just okay, but to be honest, it's kind of forgettable. I think the most interesting part of Mortal Kombat is its lore and the history of its various characters. The Mortal Kombat franchise would likely work a lot better as a TV series as opposed to a film because it would allow the writers time to explore the characters more. They alluded to a conflict between Sub-Zero and Scorpion's clans in the beginning of the film, but of course they didn't have enough time to really focus on that. Joe Taslim has signed a contract for 4 films, so hopefully if this movie is a success, they will expand on the characters that they have established. I hope we get to see characters like Shao Kahn, Katana, Baraka, Cyrax, and Motaro in the sequel. Anyway, if you guys have watched the Mortal Kombat reboot, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out of here. Peace.